Hi everyone, welcome to Jack's Career Chats, a series where we highlight the diversity of jobs and skills and opportunities in the world of biomedical research. Today, I'm talking with my guest, Patience Mukashiaka, a PhD student at UConn working in the lab of Dr. Jeff Chuang at the Jackson Laboratories campus in Farmington, Connecticut. Patience, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background, just your path to how you got here? So did you always like science when you were growing up? What was your childhood like?
So I grew up in Africa, like Eastern Africa, in a country called Rwanda. It's a very small country, and my childhood, so I grew up like in a rural area of the country. Yeah, like country area in America, that's what I can say. I didn't have like that much opportunity to know I can do science, I can do engineering. I didn't know anything about that. And all I wanted was just to do well in school so I can move on, graduate high school, do university. But I didn't have like any specific ideas of what I wanted. Yeah, and my parents really pushed me to go to school, to do well in school. But they didn't make me like do science or influence on science. Yeah, so I started going into science when I was in high school. So in my country, in high school, you choose like a combination of what you want to focus on. So like what you can take in like AP class levels. So I did math, chemistry, and biology as a focus, and a little bit of physics. And other courses, just few classes, but my focus was on those three.
So more like STEM fields.
Yeah, and then I realized I liked I liked it, but I went there just because I realized if I do this, I will go to medical school. Yeah, so I was like, this, if I do this combination, it will help me to go to medical school. And also people who are doing science, they had the opportunity to get scholarships to go outside of the country, like for government scholarships. So I was just looking on that side. It wasn't because I was interested in science.
Yeah, so it's more like an opportunity. So
like looking forward for the opportunities.
Yeah, it would be an opportunity to go to med school or to get out of the country and to pursue a different education.
Yeah, but once I was doing it, I realized, oh, this is so good. I was doing well, so I kept going. Yeah.
And what was your path after high school? What did you choose?
So after high school, so I did well in high school after finishing high school, and then I got a government scholarship, like a full scholarship to come here. It's called a presidential scholarship. So they give it to few students who did really well for the exam in high school. And then I came here, went to Spelman College. It's an HBC school. Then I did biochemistry. So I did biochemistry because I did math, chemistry, and biology in high school. So a combination of biochemistry was more into my path of what I wanted. And yeah, what I can say is that I wish I had mentors who could really guide me for like my interest and what I want to do instead of what I'm used to. Like instead of just be like, oh, I'm used to this, that's what I'm gonna do, and just guide me if you are interested in this. So I did biochemistry.
So you're saying you did biochemistry because in high school you were so used to doing the chemistry and math and bio?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and then also most of the students who are from Rwanda, they also were doing biochemistry at Spelman, so it was easy direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that, and I did like different internships freshman year. We can talk about the internships I did.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I did like all my summers. I did different internship like in different areas because I was looking for like what I actually like. And then I realized I didn't like working in the lab, doing biochemistry, doing chemistry. I was
Yeah.
doing well in class, but wasn't really interested in doing that. So
So when you like, you know, the courses are different than the actual lab work, the actual experience of living and
yeah,
breathing, being that
yeah,
type of scientist, and you weren't really liking it.
mm-mm, no. And then I changed. Now I'm doing computational biology, so I can say, but mostly like people like bioinformatics or computational biology.
So how did you make that switch? Was it during your internships? Did you find something that
Yeah,
really
so when
interested
I was doing my last internship, I was doing into organic chemistry, like pure synthesis, like synthesizing chemicals. And then my boss, he was like, "You're doing well, but doesn't seem like you're excited doing this." I was doing it at a genetic company, Rush, like pharmaceutical.
Mm-hmm. Like a biotech company?
Yeah, it's a biotech company. So, and then I was like, yeah, I'm just doing this because it's an opportunity. I haven't done like synthesis, and I also, and this company is great, but I don't, I don't have passion to do this. And then he was sat down. He told me like, he asked me a question, or what do you like? What do you feel like you wanna do in your life? And I told him, and he was like, actually, I feel like bioinformatics can be good for you.
So what did you tell him that he thought bioinformatics? What is it that you wanted?
I told him like, I wanna I wanna work like in a flexible environment, meaning like I don't know. I need to plan 7 hours experiments. I need to be there this time, leave at this time. And also I told him I wanted to do something computationally, like on computers, like programming stuff. But I didn't want to do theoretical chemistry, which is like computational side of chemistry. Then I told him like some of my interests. I have done like a little bit of sequencing stuff, like analyzing sequencing data, but that was like in the class. And then he was like, okay, so if you try bioinformatics, it'll be good for you probably. And then he guided me. So I had another mentor. She was in bioinformatics area, so that was great. So I emailed her. I told her, okay, so I'm in synthesis chemistry right now, but I feel like I want to switch to biochemistry, to bioinformatics. And she was like, yeah, sure, you can join our meetings all the time if you want. So she invited me to all the meetings they had.
Like the group meetings with her research group?
Yeah, the group meetings. It's a different structure, like a company structure of meetings, but they were just discuss of what they are doing, and she was like a VIP person, so I just hear what they're talking about, what they're discussing about, and also she gave me like one-on-one meetings with her employees and stuff. So at the end, I was like, okay, this is my thing. This is what I wanna do, and so I asked them like, what classes should I take to help me? That was kind of late. I was finishing my junior year, so I was going to senior year. I was applying for graduate school. Yeah, and most of the classes I took them during summer of like senior year, like after graduation, online classes to help me for graduate school. Yeah.
But it's because you finally found like the thing that you were most interested in, even though it was a little late in your undergrad career. You
Yeah,
still
it
went
was
and did all
kind
the
of late, but I'm excited that I found it. I'm still excited because, you know, it doesn't matter when you find your interest, when you do, it's the most excitement thing ever. Because like doing research, you have to have the passion and interest, and like you have to like it. If you don't like it, it can be like a little challenging, but if you like it, like you really like what you are doing, it can be fun instead. So yeah, was kind of late, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
relative, right? Yeah, in the
Yeah,
grand scheme of your career, it was worth it because it really
yeah,
set you on this path that you're on now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it,
So I would say like uh, choosing what you wanna do, choosing your career, like don't hesitate to change, don't hesitate to try anything, don't hesitate to ask people because they know better than us, they have experience. So yeah, that's really what helped me.
that sounds so great that you had these, mentors and people that you could look to and they really helped set you on this path.
Yeah, yeah, that's something I'm grateful about. Like at Spelman, I had great teachers, great professors who like. So when I started, I was like, I just want to do research. I want to have experience, all the experience possible in college. And then I started working in the lab. After my freshman year, I was like, I don't like this. So I told my professor that you are great, this is great, but I want to try something else. So she helped me find another professor to work with. Then I worked with her on something else, and I was like, this is great. I like you, but this is not my thing. I want to try something else. I was just keep trying to find what I like so I can enjoy it. Yeah.
I think that's such an important quality though too, because maybe someone else would get to that experience, they didn't like it, and then just stop, and say, well, I don't like it, so I don't like all the things. But you didn't say that. You said, I don't like it, there must be something else, like you were driven
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah, because I was like, I like biochemistry classes. I didn't like labs because so most of my professors were telling, they used to tell me like, I'm looking for perfection in the lab. So like I will spend, if a lab is for like an hour, I will spend like an hour and 30 minutes trying to finish experiments on the perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like labs, but I really like being in the biochemistry major. And I guess professors also said, because they'll be like, okay, this student is trying everything possible. And when you approach them and ask them questions, they are really there to help. So yeah.
That's great advice too, like, to use the professors to help you because they're there to help you, go to them as guides.
Yeah, yeah. So having those people who can listen and talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy to be like, I don't like this. Can you help me find something else? Yeah. So that's also important.
And you said that you were applying to graduate school. So what made you want to continue your education after undergrad?
Yeah. So when I was thinking about like after undergrad, I was thinking about getting a job because I wanted to have like a bit of experience in bioinformatics before jumping into graduate school. But then I realized like most of the jobs I would get just after undergrad, I didn't like them, was just like technician level jobs, and I wanted like a higher level job where I make decisions, have like inputs and projects, and I couldn't do that without a degree. So I decided, okay, I need to continue so I can do what I want. Yeah, that's what pushed me to go to graduate school.
And did you apply for bioinformatics programs or what types of programs did you apply for?
Because I didn't have experience in bioinformatics, I targeted programs where they have like umbrella programs. So like I came to UConn when I applied to, wait, which program did I apply to? I applied to a different program because they say once you join, you can change. So
Right.
once I joined, I changed.
Right, right. I also went to an umbrella program where that means that it's, an umbrella where there's many different departments within. So you can apply
Yeah,
to one, but then take many classes and you can switch to the other one, right?
yeah, yeah. That's what I did. Yeah.
And how did you choose the lab that you're in now doing research?
Oh, so I like the lab, just the descriptions of what they do before even joining. So I emailed my PI, Jeff, during summer, like before joining the program. I was like, I really like your lab, so I want to rotate in the lab. And also rotations are really great thing that we have here, so you can rotate in different labs and decide.
So you spend like a few weeks in different labs so you can decide if you like it before you join the lab officially.
Yeah, so I emailed him and he was excited. I also mentioned that like I don't have experience in his research, but I'm interested. And he was like, "Yeah, that's good." He told me books that I can read like during summer, and things I can study during summer. And once I came here, I started like rotation right away with him. And it was great. Like they were really helpful. Even though I didn't have like experience in the area, they gave me someone who can guide me, help me. And like the reasons I joined the lab mostly is because I like the research, like that's my interest. And also my PI is amazing. Thank you, he's amazing mentor. Yeah, so
That's
that's,
wonderful. It makes all the difference to have a good mentor, someone supportive of your research and your education.
yeah, like he just wants you to be successful, yeah, in whatever uh area you want to go to. uh,
But you
that's,
mentioned that you didn't have much experience in that lab's research. So was that intimidating? Like, were you scared,
yeah,
hesitant to apply?
yeah, it was intimidating. It was really intimidating. Uh I remember the first 2 days I was sitting down and I was like trying to watch videos and things like that. I was like, oh my God. Oh, maybe I should have went to chemistry and just do chemistry. This is difficult. But after a few months, I was like, oh, now I'm used to it. Now I can do this by myself. I don't really need guidance anymore. But yeah, but at the beginning, you really do need the help. So
And
yeah.
what's the lab like? What type of research does the lab do, and what's your research project?
So my lab right now is focused on uh, using image analysis for cancer research. So we use different kind of images like H&E images, like those from hospitals. H&E mostly they use for cancer patients, and we also use like microscopic images from labs.
So something from like a tumor biopsy or something?
Yeah, like tumor biopsy, or the ones in the lab it can be like confocal microscopy images. There's different kind of imaging over there, so there's different kind of images.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we analyze mostly images to um, to do cancer research, but mostly for tumor heterogeneity stuff related. And yeah, so we have different areas actually. Like everybody in the lab has kind of their own project, and you can take your project in different direction as you want. So it's kind of hard to say in one, like in few sentences what we do. But in my own research, I also do like image analysis to analyze tumor heterogeneity, like intratumor heterogeneity. I use 3D organoids images, so it's kind of like you put cancer cells in a kind of gel, so they form a 3D, and then I take images on that. And so I developed like pipeline to like single cell level analysis on that. And yeah, that's what I'm currently working on.
And so what does your analysis look like? Are you writing programs? Is it a lot of coding? Like, what's the type of work that you're doing computationally?
Yeah, so when I started, there was no way like to analyze those images. So I developed a pipeline, so sort of like mini software to analyze those images. So that's coding. So that's fully coding, and analyzing, it's also fully coding. So it's the kind of analyzing I'm doing right now is looking like how cells in those organoids are interacting. Yeah, so looking at their interactions, and that's basically also coding. So I'm always coding, really. But it's interesting, yeah.
And what does your work tell you? Does it tell you about like cancer spread or mutation or metastasis? What's the implications of your work?
Oh, so you want me to go into details?
Just a little bit about, like what type, like the analysis that you're doing, like what's the output, like what does it mean? What is that data used for?
Yeah, so people have been looking at the interactions and like communication of cancer cells and immune cells, and there is like a lot of research out there, but there is little research about like communication among cancer cells that are like behaving differently. So the analysis, it's looking at the like different communication among different cancer cells that have like different behaviors in terms of growth, in terms of response to treatment. So if they are together, if they are communicating to each other, what happens? So let's say you have one population of cancer cell that is like responsive to this treatment, and then you have another population that is not responsive to this treatment. What happens if you mix them? Does the ones that is responsive become resistant, or does the one that is resistant become responsive? So that's kind of like simple analysis, but that's because that's the behavior have been seen in patients. Like some of they will treat cancer thinking that it's responsive to treatment, but without knowing there was a population that is non-responsive, and then the other ones that was responsive has become non-responsive. So that techniques is not really known, like what's causing it, what's happening. So that's what really I'm looking at.
I see. So your research can help predict for therapeutics, for example, how to administer them or when, or how the cells will respond.
It's like mostly which cancer population should we target, and when should we target it?
Yeah.
And how should we target it? Yeah. That's basically where we are trying to go.
Yeah, no, that's really impactful. And the fact that you can do that, kind of combining the things from the clinic, like the patient samples and the tumor images and the cancer images, and then do that in the lab, you can use the organoids and you can do different experiments, and then to do it all computationally, that analysis. Seems like a really cool intersection of all these different fields.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing. Yeah.
And what's your life like as a grad student? So grad school's quite a few years, right? I know for me it took 5.5 years, so that's kind of the average. Some people it takes less, some people takes more. You know, are you taking classes, or are you doing mainly research? What's your life like?
Yeah, I'm still in my 3rd year, so actually starting my 3rd year, as I finished the first 2 years. The first 2 years, that's when you're mostly focused on classes, and right now it's just research, focusing on research. And I feel like because I like my research, I like what I do, it's challenging because you're trying to discover something, but also because I like it, I enjoy it. So that makes a difference, I guess. I would say taking classes, doing research was kind of like a lot of work.
To do both at the same time.
Yeah, and right now I feel like, oh, this is a little bit relaxing because I'm done with classes.
Just focus on your research. It's like a job now, right? Where
it's like a job now. Yeah. So.
And do you know what you want to do afterwards? You were saying, you know, you were motivated to go to grad school because the jobs that you were looking at with your bachelor's degree just, you know, kind of weren't enough responsibility for you. What are the types of jobs that you would want afterwards, after you get your PhD?
Yeah, the time I spent PhD program, the more my mind changes.
The more you learn, right? And you learn about yourself and what you enjoy, and then you learn about what's available.
Yeah, when I started, I was like, so once I'm done, I'm going to look for like a job in a pharmaceutical, like industry, you know, and have like kind of the same thing like bioinformatics area, either sequencing or image analysis or things like that. And yeah, that was my idea, like just do that. But right now I'm like, maybe something else. But yeah, I would like to continue in my area. Like, I don't want to deviate again.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you have a lot of skills that can really take you anywhere. I mean, you're doing cancer research now, but bioinformatics can be applied to any medical field, any field in general, right?
Yeah, so right now, as I said, right now I'm working on image analysis, but I also have like single cell sequencing data coming in, like for the same type of project. So I will have like, you know, different kind of experience, like different data analysis experience I can use, like image analysis, sequencing analysis, and also in my lab currently they are focusing on like artificial intelligence way of analyzing things. So that's also another experience. So yeah, I feel like I can take my experience in different directions. That's why I'm not decided yet for now.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. There's so much potential, it sounds like.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah. Yeah, but what some people, like some of my friends who are like in PhD program, they'll be like, oh, once I'm done, I don't want to do research anymore. I'm done with research. So that's not my case for me. Yeah, I want to do research. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you end up doing as you progress and after you finish.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you have any parting words for some of the aspiring bioinformaticians and data scientists out there that might be watching?
I would just say it's amazing area, and it's growing really. Like there is a lot of jobs out there that are requiring same skills from bioinformatics, so computational area, especially computational biology, or yeah. So keep going. It's gonna be amazing in the future. Yeah, that's all I can say. Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Patience, for joining me and taking the time to chat.
Yeah, and I wanted to say like something a little bit for like high school students. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so the thing I have learned like this time I have been in school was like seek for mentors, ask questions. Like having mentors is the best thing ever because they can guide you, they can help you. Even if you feel like, oh, I got this, I know what I'm doing, you really need like help from people who are experienced. So that's something I wish I had when I was in high school, like a little bit of guidance of what I can do. Like if I was in high school and someone told me, yeah, go do computer science, maybe I'll have liked it and just start from like the beginning or early college. So yeah, mentorship is very important.
Do you have any advice about how to find a mentor? You know, who is a mentor?
You have teachers first. Start there.
Yeah.
Start there. Yeah, your
Yeah,
teachers.
perfect resources.
Yeah. So like different. I think it's different here in my country. Like in high school, your teachers, they are like way above you. You can just talk to them the way you want. You can't just ask them questions. Except like if it's in class, you ask them the few things and that's it. Like there is no really like student teachers communication about careers and stuff. So yeah, I feel like having that opportunity, I know they do here, so they can ask their teachers, and that's that's uh that's amazing. Like and also it's something I did on my own. So I would just look for people like who are doing same thing I want to do and just email them and be like, hey, I want to do this and I feel like that's what you are doing. So can you guide me? Can you help me? Can you tell me what I can do to get there? Like things like that. Yeah, most people they're there. They'll be willing. They'll really help.
That's
Yeah.
really good advice. But that's also it must have been brave of you to email a stranger and to say, you know, hey, I think what you do is cool. Will you help me? But it sounds like it was a good experience that it paid off. Everyone was very supportive.
Yeah, once I didn't know what I was interested in, I emailed one of the professors, like a near professor of my school. So, and my college was like college, so it didn't have like high research opportunities, it was like small research. So I emailed a professor near my school, and I was like, oh, you think this research, this is amazing, this is what I want to do, I just want to be like you. And then I applied there for graduate school and I was like, hey, Patience. I was like, hi. Like, I remember I was like, where? I was like, you emailed me. I was like, really?
So they emailed you, but you didn't remember them? That's so funny.
I
Or they remembered you.
didn't know his face. I guess he looked for me.
Oh,
Like, oh, this is Patience. But then I was like, oh, sure, I should have looked how he looked like just in case we met. I'll know him, but I didn't. So I'm like, hey. Yeah.
that's funny. Well, it's good to know that, you know, you can really make an impact on people and they can remember you even if they never met you.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ask people. Ask around. everybody. Like most people, if they hear like you're a high school student, college student trying to do something, they're willing to help. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it reminds me, so you mentioned that you got a scholarship to attend university, but graduate school, how was that for you? So this is something unique to biomedical research programs, right? That they're funded?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to worry about like tuition or loans or anything for going to graduate school?
No, that's the best thing about PhD programs. Yeah, you don't worry about anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, and also for our program, we don't even have to teach. So it's like graduate assistantship, something. Yeah. Oh, I also mentioned that I did some uh, internships like when I was in college. So
Mm-hmm.
the way I got internships was just like emailing people.
So that's how you got your internships, was just contacting people and you saw
Yeah,
the
just
research was
like
cool?
yeah, I was just look up like when you are in freshman year, it's really hard to get an internship because you don't have experience and people are not looking for like that. I mean, people are willing to give like opportunities, experience to like juniors or sophomores or things like that. So the way I got my internships, I look up like internships. First, I accept international students, and then uh, doesn't require to be sophomore or seniors, and doesn't require experience. And then now, just look for like whoever posted them. I just start emailing them. And then applying them. So I'll be like, oh, I remember this person, they emailed me, so they can look for the application.
Oh, that's smart. So you didn't just apply, you also emailed the directors.
Yeah, because I knew I didn't have experience and there's nothing special about me. So I just have something to talk to them. Oh, just ask few questions, ask them something, and then apply so they will remember me. Then they're, yeah.
And it worked? It worked out?
Yeah, it really worked out. Like there, I did this, my first internship. I got the director emailed my professor and say, oh, this person emailed me about like internship and she applied. What do you think about her? And then she told me, oh, someone emailed me asking about. I was like, oh, really? Yeah, I think I emailed them. Yeah, and then after a few days, I got the internship. Yeah, that's how I really got it. I don't think I would have gotten if I didn't email anyone.
So that personal connection, just making yourself stand out.
Yeah, just making yourself like, even if they will just see your name and even don't read it, they just be like, if they see your application and be like, oh, I remember this name, someone emailed me, they'll be like, oh, she's really interested in this program. Like
Yeah,
she wants to be here. And that's
that makes sense. I mean, so many of those programs get probably tons of applications. So anything to make yourself noticed and stand out. That's good
yeah,
advice.
yeah, anything that can help you. Yeah.
Is that what you did for all of the internships that you had during undergrad?
Yeah, my the second internship I got, I I went to a conference. Then I talked to like director of the program. Then I applied. I'm not sure if that's why I got it, but the director of the program also called my professor. One of my professors gave like a recommendation. So I don't know why they communicate that way. I'm not sure why they kept calling my professors asking about me, but yeah, what I used to do, because I knew I wanted to have experience and it was really hard mostly because of being international students. So most of the programs don't really accept international students. So I'll go to a conference and then I'll just emailing directors like that. But if I get opportunity to go to a conference, I'll pick few programs that I have done research about, like those ones they accept student, they accept international student, they accept like all the requirements, like they are full. I just go talk to them, ask them questions like that I have been prepared and things like that. And I feel like when you do that, they feel like, oh, you have like interest and you are organized, you want to do this, and once you apply, they remember who you are. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did. So like, don't be shy, talk to people, email people. Yeah.
You mentioned, some programs were not open to international students. Are there different ways where being an international student, was either helpful or hurtful for different opportunities that you came across?
Yes, definitely those things, because anything that is funded by the government, you are not eligible. So like anything related to NIH, you are not eligible. Like most of biomedical researchers are funded by NIH. So anything with NIH or anything with some of the NSF, most of programs didn't accept international students. So HHMI, do you know HHMI?
Mm-hmm. The Howard Hughes Medical.
Howard Hughes Medical Institute. Yeah, that's the one that's the one that really funded me for my first internship and my research at school. Yeah, that's how I got paid. Otherwise, I was not eligible for most of. Like it's really annoying if you're an international student. At some point, you get annoyed because you're very excited. Oh, this is great, and then U.S. citizen or resident, and be like, okay, I'm not eligible. But yeah, I feel like even if you don't have the same opportunities. I mean, you are not eligible to many things. That's why you have to work extra harder. And even also for graduate programs. So if you're an international student, like the schools have to pay extra money for tuition. And that's also a challenge. Yeah, so it's challenging, but it's doable.
But maybe again, like having a good mentor, having good resources, someone that knows about, international students and opportunities for international students for funding or for programs or anything, that would be helpful.
Yeah, so there were other like international students at my school. Of course, other schools have international students. I would say like people like seniors and juniors and ask them which program they applied to, like did they get in or not. Mostly the ones they didn't get in, you don't get in too.
That's a good point about, asking your peers that are older than you. I mean, they can.
Yeah, asking your peers is also important because they have been there.
Yeah.
So
you share experiences and they can be mentors.
Yeah, so I ask them which ones they apply to. I'll ask like professors, like, oh, do you have someone who is international student? Did you give them a recommendation? Did they apply somewhere and get in? And which ones are they? Yeah, and must they remember or not, but doesn't kill to ask.
That's good advice. There's always opportunities out there. It's just a matter of finding the right one for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you to our viewers. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Career Chats. Thank you, Patience, for joining me today and sharing your experiences. So don't forget, everyone, to watch more interviews from our Career Chat series. Until next time, bye-bye.